All right. Blah, blah, blah. Is this working? Unsupported resolution. Can you guys see me? Okay. Hello. Hey, Tom. What's going on? Oops, I liked the wrong one. Okay, well, I think we have a little bit of drama here on the YouTube side of things, but we're doing good on Facebook, so that's good. Hey, what's going on? Barry, Diane, Tom, Ashley. Oh, hi, Ashley. It's nice to see you. I know you guys have a nice view behind me. I am sitting in, okay, let's pull up some of these screens here. I'm sitting in, where are we at? Santa Clarita, California, which is super fun. So in Santa Clarita, you've got a funny background behind me because I'm at Starbucks right now. And typically we'd be either working in an office or working out of the house that we're at, but funny story, I won't bore you with the details, but we're not at either right now. So we're at a Starbucks, and so hopefully there's not too much background noise. Hopefully the sunshine hood is not going to blind you. I'm excited to be here because it is sunny, and it is nice, and it's pretty warm in the shade, so it's a little bit cool right now. But anyway, hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. I'm going to wait for maybe one more minute while some other people jump on that want to be here, but then we're going to start pretty promptly because I want to respect all of you guys' time that are here in the different lives. So I don't know if the YouTube live is working or not. It says I have an unsupported video resolution, and there's 0 people on YouTube at this point, so it might be broken, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. We'll deal with it today. So let's just worry about video. So anyway, I know you guys are excited to talk about some application funnels, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. Is 4 different application funnels. Actually, it's more like 2.5 application funnels, but 4 different funnels. So you get like 2.5. 3 application funnels and a bonus funnel, which would be a lot of fun. And so we're going to go over those today and then talk about a few little extra things as well. So I'm excited to jump in. You guys ready? Give me a thumbs up if you are still with me and you're excited to hear about some of this application funnel stuff while I go move seats. You are clear. Thank you. I am clear. I am clear. Anybody else want to hear about this stuff, or you want me to just talk to myself? Oh, sorry. Here we go. Everyone's saying, yeah. Okay, sweet. So now I'm in a totally blinded zone, so hopefully okay, perfect. There we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's jump in. Let me pop over to my desktop. So can you guys see that? Hopefully you can. And you don't necessarily need to see my face. That's kind of distracting. So let's get rid of my face. And it looks like we still have audio. We're still good to go. All right, yippee skippy. Sweet. So let's just double check. Looks like everything's good. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen right now. I want to chat with you about some of these different funnels. Okay, so first and foremost, this is the information that we go over in our sponsoring PhD Society. So if you're not familiar with the society, it's a $25K coaching program. So it's a $25,000 yearly investment, and the students in that program learn what I'm about to show you now. Now, obviously, we work with them on a one-on-one basis. They get that private coaching and things of that nature. And these are, of course, people that are not a part of our network marketing team. These are people in different companies that want to do what it is that we're talking about here today. So what I'm about to share with you guys, this isn't showcased really anywhere else aside from the sponsoring PhD Society, or those in some of our higher level programs that maybe don't cost quite $25K, but they're $2,000 to $6,000. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys here today. So hopefully you get some really, really good stuff out of it. I'm going to go over 4 different funnels with you, and then I'm actually going to show these funnels to you in the live, like a live version of them, what they actually look like. That's what all these are up here for. Okay, so first and foremost is a influencer based campaign funnel. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is we have to drive traffic to a particular funnel, right? There's two different sides of everything, of every single funnel. One is you have the funnel itself, right, which is all this right here. And the second thing is you have the actual traffic. So this actually goes back to typical network marketing issues. A lot of people have their they have their hotel meeting, right, or they have their their Starbucks meeting, or they have their video or whatever. They've got their Zoom call with their upline. So they've got this. They've got the presentation, but they've got no traffic, right? If you're trying to get people into the hotel meeting, like, how are you going to get them there, right? That's the problem. Most people have a hard time filling up their mechanism, whatever that mechanism is, be it a hotel meeting or a Starbucks meeting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why there's always two sides to this. You've got to be very aware of the traffic and also the mechanism in which you get people into the business. Now, who can tell me why? I know you're actually you're a few seconds behind me, so I might not actually be asking too many questions. But who can tell me? Hello, Lori. Can you enlarge the screen? Hopefully it's enlarged. You guys comment down below if there's a screen problem. I hope there's not. But I think it should be back full size now. So anyway, why do you have an application funnel? What's the purpose? The purpose is that people, when they apply for your team, they have a much, much, much higher chance of being high quality, right? If you're hunting people down, if you are needing to call them and try to sell them into your opportunity or sell them on a particular product, that's a problem. There's a big, big difference between salespeople and closers. See, closers don't usually have to spend that much time selling, if any. And when you have an application-based situation, that's when you can turn into a closer rather than a salesperson. Now, truthfully, I believe that you don't sell anyone into an opportunity at all. They have to qualify for it. But this application actually puts a strategy to that belief system. So in this particular funnel, what would happen is we would send traffic, and I'm going to go over this in depth, where we would send traffic to an opt-in page. On that opt-in page, people would put in their name, email, and phone number to get more information about the opportunity. Then they would go to the thank you page with what I call a step-up form, or a step-up step, which would then give them the opportunity to fill out the application. Okay, so the application is actually here, not here, it's here. And then from that point forward, we would put them on the calendar, have a chat with them, a phone call, and then send them the company's information, and then enroll them. The other situation is if they don't fill out the application, they just skip that part, then we would probably send them a text, try to get them on the calendar, and then put them into a chat, phone call, or company information. So what's the advantages of what I just showed you? So here's what I just showed you. I just showed you a way that you can promote your opportunity straight up. Now, this doesn't work in almost every scenario for lots of reasons. The reason it doesn't work is because most companies will never let you do this, okay? They'll never let you promote your company's name straight up in cold traffic. That'll never, ever happen. The second reason it doesn't work is because the ad networks themselves, these people, right, they will never let you promote a network marketing company straight up, ever. That's why you see us running a lot of MLM Rebels ads. They're not our company's ads, they're MLM Rebels ads, because we can get away with that, but we can't get away with promoting the company. You maybe fell into this, but when you do it this way, you actually can. So here's what I mean. With this particular funnel, we promote with influencers. So basically what we do is we go to people with huge followings on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and we approach them. We said, hey, you have 500,000 followers, you have 10 million followers, whatever the case is, you have millions of followers. Can we pay you? Can we write you a check? And you post whatever we want. And most of the time they say yes. They'll post basically a link to this funnel right here. Okay, so essentially we say, hey, post a link to this funnel, and then people on this influencer's channel will click the link and end up here. By doing that, we effectively bypass the ad network's rules, and we can promote the opportunity directly. Now, that's not to say that we actually promote our company right here. We don't. We just promote us and what we can potentially do. We don't actually talk about the company until here. Okay? But you could never promote a network marketing opportunity this close in if you're using an ad network. Now, I know this might be a little bit intense for some of you. This could be a little elementary for others, but hopefully this makes some sense. So the first thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a bunch of traffic that comes here. Someone's going to click the link, and they're going to opt in. What is an opt-in, for those of you that don't know? An opt-in is an exchange. It means that, let's say you come to my website, this page here. You're going to give me your information, your name, email, and phone number. In return, I'm going to give you something. In this case, I'm going to give you information about an opportunity that can make income 24/7. That's what I'm going to give you in return. So you give me your name, email, and phone number, and I'm going to give you information about how you can make income online 24/7. That's what this is, okay? Now, of course, I'm alluding to my network marketing opportunity here, but I haven't said that yet. Then on the thank you page, I'm going to say something like, "Sounds great. I'm glad you reached out. What I want you to do is separate yourself from the masses. In order to do that, you're going to fill out this application and tell me why we should have a conversation." This is where the application comes in. Okay, this is where they separate themselves out. Now, it's in our experience that probably 5 to 10% of people will actually fill this out. If they do, they're pretty high quality prospects. We're going to immediately put them on the calendar. So that's going to be the next step, is they're going to be put onto the calendar, and then we're going to either have a phone call, a chat with them, depending on what we want to do. We're going to send them their company's presentation and then enroll them if it's a yes. Okay. Now, the majority of people, probably 90% of people, will not fill out the application initially. They're going to probably skip the application, and we're just going to send them a text message and try to get them on the calendar. Okay. After that, we'll then just resume this original process. Now, the reason this particular funnel works really good is because it's such a high traffic funnel. You know, this actually isn't the most buttoned up funnel in the entire world. There are other more sophisticated funnels like what I'm going to show you soon that get actually better results for what they are. But this one gets good results because it's an influencer-based funnel. You can get mass quantities of traffic for super cheap because it's an influencer traffic funnel. So that's the key here. All right, so this is what this is. This is this type of funnel. This works really good for getting a really high amount of opt-ins with phone numbers to talk about your opportunity, and then to get a really high number of applications for a pretty low dollar amount. To give you an example, we have used this funnel personally to generate, at this step right here, 356 leads with phone numbers in under 12 hours. We've actually used it to generate over 900 leads with phone numbers in under 12 hours for a total of like $200. Like, we spent $200 and got like 356 people give us their name and phone number to call them about our opportunity, which is really nuts. Now, I will say that not all of them are in the right countries. About 50% of them are actually workable, meaning they're in the countries we operate in, but still, that is a massively good return. We had a gentleman that started it, and he did this. We taught him how to do this just through a masterclass. Wasn't even like we didn't even help him personally. And within, I think, 5 days, he produced. Ashley knows, so I don't know. But he produced like 180, maybe like 180 leads with phone numbers in his first 5 days doing it. He spent less than $100, I think, which is just absolutely nuts. Okay, so that's what this is. I'm going to show you an example of this right here. So this is the traffic, right? The traffic is coming. I'm going to show you this page right here, the opt-in with the phone number. That is this page. So this is the page that we have used, and this has worked really good. So it's a really basic page. It doesn't really get too confusing. It's just there's some nice copy here. Talks about that 24/7 business model. We have a name, email, and phone number. You put it in, you hit submit, and that's basically it. That's where we capture their information. From there, they go to the thank you page. Okay, so the thank you page is very basic and has a link to the application. Okay, so I'm going to show you that application right now, which is. So this is a variation of the thank you page. It says thank you and then has a few other words here. I don't have it right in front of me. And so this says thank you and there's a few other extra words, and there's a video right here that says, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and I want you to fill out this application. Then they click here, and here is the application. Once they fill this out, we then put them on the calendar and give them a call. So I just showed you the application right here. We would then put them on our calendar and then simply give them a call and then show them our company's presentation and then follow up with them and enroll them if that makes sense. Does that sound good? All right, cool. Well, I know that that was a lot to take in for some of you. Again, that's probably really elementary for others, but I think a lot of you should hopefully receive some value from that. If you have particular questions about that, there's a bit of a delay on our live stream, not because the Wi-Fi is bad or anything, just because there's a delay in getting this screen share over to Facebook and YouTube and then having it shared with you. So I probably can't take any like live questions, but if you have questions, just put them, like literally comment them right now. We'll go back through them and either make a separate video or answer them directly if you have any questions about that particular funnel or any of these. Okay, this one right here this is a different funnel. If you didn't see, I scrolled down just now. This is a lead magnet funnel. Okay, so the previous one wasn't really a lead magnet. This one is a lead magnet, which means that we are actually giving something of value right now when they give us their email address. So we're writing an ad and we're saying, hey, give me your email address and I'll give you like a 7-step blueprint on doing XYZ, right? I'll give you a free seat to a webinar. I'll give you a free report. That's a lead magnet. The previous one didn't have a lead magnet. It was just give me your name and phone number and I will call you, or I'll tell you about a sweet opportunity. So this is a little bit different. So what happens is we're running traditional ads, okay? Traditional ads, which is bad in the sense that it costs a lot more, but better in the sense that they're a lot more targeted. So we can target specific locations, and we can make sure that these are very, very high quality people that are coming into this funnel, whereas with the influencer-based campaign, we can't necessarily control that. Excuse me. So we run our ads, and it goes to this lead magnet opt-in page. This opt-in page is asking for their name and email, and then in exchange, we're going to give them that blueprint or that report or that seat for the webinar or whatever. Okay. After we make that exchange, then we have the thank you page / delivery of the lead magnet. In that same thank you page, we're also going to give them a call to action. We're going to say, hey, here's the delivery of the thing. Here's the delivery of the blueprint or of the report. If you want to work with us, call to action, fill out this application, and we can potentially work together. So that's actually, there's a link on that thank you page for the application, so that we're actually shooting for the application immediately. Now, some people are going to fill it out right there, some people won't, and they're going to get dumped into a 5-part email sequence that is promoting this application. What we have noticed through this funnel I'm going to show you in a moment is that about 17% of all leads will fill out an application, which is extremely high if you do this right. 17%. So if you have 1,000 people, 1,000 leads, it means you have 170 applicants. These are extremely high quality applicants. The previous funnel I showed you, they're good applicants, but you're going to have to do a little bit of sifting on the phone. You might have 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 that are really, really good. But here, you're probably getting 1 out of 2 that are highly, highly, highly qualified applicants. Then you be on the phone with them or a chat, send them the company's information, and enroll them. Cool? All right, so that one is here. So this is actually a gentleman that we did work for, or we do. He's a client and a friend of ours, and actually a business partner. And so his name is Steve. He is one of the top 1 or 2 American income earners in a particular MLM company, which is pretty amazing. So Steve's a really, really good dude. And this is his opt-in page. Okay, so he's giving away a blueprint here. When you opt in for the blueprint, you're taken to the actual blueprint page where he gives you the blueprint. He is now fulfilling on his promise to give you the thing. So this is the blueprint, okay? Right under the blueprint is the application. Very basic application, but it's an application. When people fill this out, now he calls them and sells them, or doesn't sell them, excuse me, qualifies them for the opportunity. If they don't fill this out right now, they're sent into the email sequence, which would then promote this page and get them to fill out this application form. Now, once again, we have about a 17% take rate on this particular step right here. And from this step, as far as I know, Steve registers 1 out of every 2 people he talks to, roughly. Or excuse me, 1 out of every 4. 1 out of every 4 people he talks to, which is still very, very, very high. And he only calls them like 1 time. He's a very busy guy. Clearly, he's a top earner in his company. So 1 out of every 4 people he talks to, he enrolls, and he only calls them once. So that's this particular funnel. Pretty cool. Okay, let's move down to this webinar funnel here. So this is one that you may be familiar with if you're in the MLM Rebels group, which you are. So this is like the one that we primarily use ourselves. This is an automated recruiting system. Wait, am I looking at this right? Order and agreement page. Oh yeah, this is an automated recruiting system right here. So you might be familiar with this. I won't spend a ton of time on this, but essentially we run ads. We promote a webinar. The opt-in page is a registration page for the webinar. Okay. On the webinar itself, we are basically teaching people how to create an automated recruiting system, and then we're saying, but we've already created one. If you want to access ours and be trained on it and use ours, you can do that. All you have to do is invest the money and then join our team. Okay, so that's happening all in this funnel. And we have a thank you page and the enrollment and the opportunity. So I'll show you the opt-in page here. For this particular funnel, you're more than welcome to, funnel hack us if you want. You can buy things if you, I don't care. You do whatever you want with this to see this. But my guess is if you're in this group, you've probably been through this funnel already. And so this is the funnel itself. So this is the bridge page. This is just a nice open overview of the webinar. This is the webinar registration page itself. Okay, so this is where people would come to actually register for the webinar. They're going to click on register. They're going to select their date and time, hit reserve my seat. Then they're simply going to be taken to a thank you page, and they're going to receive some emails that give them the date and time and stuff like that, get them to show up, all that kind of thing. Those are called indoctrination emails. And they're actually going to show up for the actual webinar itself. Okay, so they're actually going to attend the webinar, receive that value that they get. Now, the reason webinars work so well is because you're able to give someone an immense amount of value over the period of an hour, hour and a half, and then ask them if basically you don't have to ask them anything. You can just say, hey, I just gave you all this stuff. I just gave you all this value, this 90 minutes or the 60 minutes of training. You can either go implement this on your own, or I've done a ton of the hard work for you. You can just, purchase my system and join my team, and I've done that for you. So it's not really an application funnel. That's kind of what I meant at the beginning of this call. This is not really an application type funnel as much as it is a recruiting system. But I will say this. I mean, the financial reward here, if you can get this one to work for yourself, is greater because people are investing a larger chunk of money. You're usually going to make a pretty good profit, but sometimes you might not, but usually you do. You almost always make a really good profit with this type of situation right here. And you're going to get really high quality recruits. By far the highest quality recruits come from this particular funnel type. When someone's investing $1,000 or $2,000 for a training system, and then they join a network marketing company to implement that system within, when they have that kind of skin in the game, they're usually going to be really high quality. And what's really cool is something like this is we're typically targeting current network marketers. So we're typically targeting current network marketers, which means that people already understand the game when they get in. So when they get in the business, they're not asking a bunch of stupid questions. They already get how network marketing works, and they're ready to hit the ground running. So this is the holy grail. This automated recruiting system is the holy grail, but it's the longest and hardest thing to create, which is why we give this to people on our team when they purchase the recruiting system. This is why we teach people how to do this in the MLM Rebels Blueprint. So if you're, by the way, I think I left the link down below. It's MLMRebelsBlueprint.com. That is a 40-page document giving you a roadmap on how to build this for yourself, even if you're not in our company. So go ahead and you can click on that if you'd like to get more information about that. But that's what this is. We're all shooting to this, right? We're all shooting for the automated recruiting system. That doesn't mean we don't use the previous funnel types I shared with you, because that supplements our work, that puts some fuel on things. But this is really what we're all kind of going after in most cases, right? All right, the last one I'm going to go with, I'm going to show you, is a free plus shipping funnel. This was our very first funnel type. This funnel actually, when you compare all the things that happen to us in this industry, in the online space, this is the funnel that changed our life the most. When I look back at the things that have happened, where we're at today, why we're doing what we're doing, the connections that we have, they came from this funnel. Okay. Now, this one is probably the hardest to build. I'm going to be honest with you, which is why I put it last. This is like jet fuel on everything I just showed you, but it's pretty tough to build. The reason it's jet fuel is because the purpose of this type of funnel is to acquire leads and not pay for them. So every other funnel I just shared with you, you're spending money on leads, but, well, actually, on 2 funnels I shared with you, the first 2 I shared with you, you're spending money on leads, but you are not monetizing those leads until they register in your business and potentially even take further action. Wow, it's a loud bike. I guess I'm outside. I'm kind of asking for it, but unbelievable. But those first 2 funnel types, you're not monetizing those leads until they're in your business for a little while. The third funnel type with the webinar, you're monetizing that immediately. So that's called a self-liquidating offer funnel, which is what you want. This free plus shipping funnel is another self-liquidating offer funnel, but it has a higher quantity of people coming through it because it's a lower cost item. It's lower cost so that you can have a higher quantity, but I will say this, when you have a lower cost situation like this, it's actually harder to make money and break even because there's so little wiggle room. That's why it's tough. So in this type of situation, we have our traffic, we're running our ads, it's going to the free plus shipping page, which essentially we are giving away something of value for free, something of high value for free, but we're asking people to cover the shipping and handling charge on said item. Okay. Once someone does that, they're going to hit a series of upsells and maybe even a downsell, and then they're going to hit the thank you page. These upsells and downsells don't actually, they do make a lot of money, but they don't actually make you that much profit. So what we found is it costs anywhere between $10 and $20 to acquire a free customer, someone who literally gets something for free and maybe pays $6, $7 for shipping. It costs between $10 and $20 to do that of time. So you can just do the math. If you're spending $20 to give away something that they paid $7 for, you're losing $13 a shot, right? Or excuse me, you're losing $20 because you're probably paying that $7 out in cost of goods sold. So you're losing $20 a shot. So these upsells are usually anywhere between $50 and $100. When these people buy these upsells, these are just helping pad the bank account to cover the cost of these ads. Ideally, you're making a profit, but really what you're shooting for is just to break even. If you can break even in this funnel, now you've got really, really hot leads, people that like you, they know you, and guess what you can do with those leads? Anything you want. You can send them into any of the application funnels that I just shared with you, right? One. You can send them into the lead magnet funnel. You can send them into the webinar funnel. Basically, you can monetize these leads so stinking well that it's not even funny because the cost has already been taken care of. And you can get them to apply for your team or the other funnels I showed you. You can have them go to your webinar and make a full-blown 100% profit because the lead cost has already been taken care of. This is jet fuel on the whole shebang, on the situation. That's one of the reasons why I'm telling you this is like, it totally changed their life, okay? Now, different reasons than what I was referring to even. But this funnel totally revolutionized our world, okay? Now, that's this particular funnel here. Some of you may have seen this on the ClickFunnels website. This is the perfect MLM script funnel, okay? So you can go to this if you'd like, and that's what this looks like. So we have an average cart value on this particular funnel of $27, okay? That means that for every person that takes us up and purchases a free item or claims a free item and pays $7 for the shipping, we make $27 when you average everything out on every single person that does that. Now we have a $7.23 of cost of goods sold, which means we make about 20 bucks. So that means I can spend $20 on any of these platforms to acquire one free taker. If I can stay under 20 bucks, I can scale this thing to oblivion and get unlimited leads and then dump those leads into any of those other funnels and into application situations. Is that making sense? Now, the reason this one can be quite difficult is because you're skating a thin line. If you're getting a cost to acquire a customer at $19, you're in the clear. But if it goes even $2 up to $21, you're losing money, dude. And you're losing it fast. That's why this one's hard. Whereas a webinar, you can have a cost. I can have a cost per lead at like 10 or 11 bucks on this webinar funnel and still double my money. And if a cost per lead changes by $1 or $2, I'm probably still not losing money, but I'd be losing money here. That's why this one's harder. That's why I wouldn't start here. It seems that you'd want to start here because it's earlier in the funnel, right? It's earlier in the value ladder. It seems like logical sense to start here, but it's actually not. You want to start something in the middle of the value ladder, more of a mid-priced option or a high-ticket option, and then move backwards, okay? So again, if you have questions on this, just comment them down below, and we'll make sure to get back to them. Is this all sounding like it makes sense? All sounds good? By the way, one thing I want to cover is this whole free plus shipping thing. I've had a few people. Most people are totally cool with it. You get some stinkers that, are going to comment on your ads that are like, free is free, not $7, So here's the thing. Everyone in, what's the valuable thing here? In this funnel I just showed you, what's the valuable thing? The valuable thing is the script, right? That's what's offering the value. That's the thing that's worth the money. And I'm giving you that information for free, right? All you have to do is just pay to ship it somewhere. It's literally you paying shipping and handling, because the shipping and handling cost me $7.23. Charge $7.95 for it. Once you take out the processing fee, I make $0. So you're getting it for free. You're just covering shipping and handling. So some people say, well, free is free, not free and $7.95. It's like, bro, the information, the life-changing information is free. I'm giving it to you for free. You can have it for free if you just cover the cost for me to ship it to you. So if you're worried about what people are going to say, you're going to have some people that are going to do that. But personally, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't even know how many customers we've had come through that funnel, and we've maybe only had 5 people complain. And it's like, if they're going to whine about that, they're probably not going to be good customers anyway. Some of our best people, this funnel right here, is how I met this guy. It's how I met Steve. And because of this situation, well, there's a bunch of crazy stuff that happened, but I won't get into that. But this funnel right here completely changed our world, and I think it can be the jet fuel on anything else that you need it to be the jet fuel on. Is that fair? All right, so I want to get into couple last things as we get closed out and make sure my screen is still on, which is. So if you guys learned some things, do me a favor, comment down below. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'm going to get into another thing right now here, but you can feel free to leave those questions, and maybe I can get to them before we jump off the call. Also, if you want to make that holy grail, the automated recruiting system, and you want to get more information about it, there's a free 40-page roadmap on building it for yourself at MLMRebelsBlueprint.com. You can go there and check that out if you'd like to. One thing I want to share with you guys is a quick little leadership lesson, because one thing that we learned this a few years ago, and if you don't have leadership in your team, the thing's going to fall apart. Everything I just showed you is really, really cool, right? And almost everything we talk about in MLM Rebels is all about acquisition, getting people on your team, because the majority of network marketers do stuff really, really stupid. They're stalking people at Starbucks, they're stalking people at gas stations, they're cold calling, they're buying leads, they're doing these idiotic things. And we're about not doing any of that stuff, right? My family and my friends barely even know what we do. We're about building the business intelligently at scale. All these funnels I just showed you can scale. With a push of a button, we can have 10 times more customers without any extra effort on our part. That's called scalability. That's a good thing. But here's what's weird. No matter how much you can scale these particular funnels, no matter how many people you add to your team, no matter how many customers you get, if you're not a leader, if you don't know how to deal with people, that team is going to fall apart. I found this out really, really painfully in my first multiple years in network marketing. I was building the business old school, but I was pretty good at it. And I put a lot of people in the business using really old school tactics, but I kept losing them. They kept going out the back door because I was struggling as a leader. And if you struggle as a leader, if you struggle with people, you're going to struggle to keep people in. You're going to have to keep rebuilding. So whenever we do these calls, I'm going to share with you a brief leadership lesson so that you can keep people in your team and actually lead them, so that you don't have to keep rebuilding. Because at the end of the day, do you want to build this? Do you want to build this once and then keep rebuilding, or do you want to build it once and never have to build it again? You probably want to build it once and never again, right? So in order to do that, I want to share with you a few things. All right. If you can couple solid marketing and solid leadership, you're going to be in a really good position. What most network marketers do is they only have good leadership skills, they have crap marketing skills, and their business doesn't go anywhere. Some people are online marketers or regular marketers, and they think they can get really long-lasting results in network marketing with just marketing skills. Incorrect. They might get really good short-term results, but because they can get so many people in and make so many sales, but they're going to blow everyone out the back end because they have no leadership. You have to have both to have a truly sustainable network marketing team. Fair? Okay. So on December 29th, 1972, there was a Eastern Airlines flight. It was flying into Miami, and the flight was going. Everything was normal until they got near the landing zone. They were kind of nearing where they should be landing, right? And they the pilot and the co-pilot, they flipped the landing gear down. They put the landing gear down because they're about to make their descent, and they look down and they're like, okay, I'm almost out of battery here. Let me see. Hold on, guys. I'm sitting outside and my thing can't plug in. Service, show the battery, 16%. Okay, 16%. Okay, so they see that the landing gear is not plugged in, or it's not working. They're like, the landing gear is not down. They keep flipping it, screwing with it. Nothing's working. Look down again. Landing gear still not down. And now they're freaking out, right? And the way that they knew that the landing gear wasn't down is because the light, the indicator light was out. When they flip the switch, the landing gear should go down and the light should turn on. Well, the light's not turning on. It's off. And so they're freaking out because now they're trying to land. They're running out of fuel, and and the landing gear is not going down. It's like literally stuck up in the plane, and they can't land the stupid plane. So they call in for, the main tower. Like, what do we do? They say, just, keep flying around basically until you get something resolved and get someone down there to check on the landing gear. They get someone down there. They check on the landing gear. It's physically down. The landing gear is down. It's locked in place and it is ready to land. No more than 10 seconds later, after it was confirmed that the landing gear was down, the plane crashed into the Florida Everglades and killed over 100 people. That is sucky, right? That's kind of depressing, isn't it? Well, obviously our prayers go out to those families. I mean, that happened almost 40 years ago, but our prayers still go out for those families. But what's the lesson here? The lesson is this. When they were staring at that landing gear light not illuminating, here's what was happening. The landing gear was actually down the whole time. Now, that's not the problem. The light bulb burnt out. Here's the problem. When they were doing all this stuff, they forgot to engage autopilot. So their altitude kept decreasing and decreasing and decreasing and decreasing until, bang, they were at half their posted altitude, and they crashed into a mountain. What's the lesson here? The lesson is focus. You have to learn to focus. If you're chasing 5,000 little things all at one time, nothing's going to work, okay? If you're trying to do, I'm going to do day trading, and then I'm going to buy this course, I'm going to buy this course, I'm going to buy this course, I'm going to buy these 50 million courses, I'm just going to try a bunch of little stuff and see what works. Nothing's going to work. If you are trying to, I'm going to do this little ATM group, and then I'm going to spam people over here, and then I'm going to do messages over here, and then I'm going to try to learn funnels on the side, and I'm going to do this little certification course over here, and then I'm going to get this other ads course and all these things. No, just pick one route and follow it through to completion. Maybe not. I wouldn't even say two. I would say pick a route and follow it through to completion. And I'm not necessarily meaning just a tactic. I'm not necessarily meaning just pick this type of, I'm not saying pick well, actually I kind of am. Pick one thing, right? I need to master this funnel now. Not 5 million funnels. It's so funny to me. Sometimes I get on calls with people and they're like, okay, Zach, I need some help. They open up the ClickFunnels account and they've got 50,000 funnels. What are all these funnels doing? None of them are making you money. Why do you have 50,000 funnels? You need 2, man, 2 or 3. Some of these funnels I just showed you, when we built these, there was 2 funnels in our entire account. We didn't have 500. We had 2 or 3. So focus. Focus, focus, focus. It's not hocus pocus, it's focus, focus. So pick a funnel type, pick a traffic source, and hammer it until you get it right. And then branch out, okay? I want this to sink in, and you can teach your team this. So when your team gets in, listen, if you got a team that's trying to build 50 different businesses, let me just tell you this right now. If you're trying to build 50 different companies, they're all going to stay mediocre. Now, we have some people on our team that build multiple companies, and they're just kind of I kind of do this one a little bit, I kind of do this one a little bit, and this one a little bit. And we're totally fine with people having multiple companies on our team. We do not care at all. In fact, we not necessarily say we encourage it, but we're totally cool with it, 100% cool with it. But here's the thing, most likely, you can't put 50% effort in 4 things and expect one of them to shoot to superstardom. right? It's more of a focus into one. And then once you have the winning formula, you can apply it to number 2, then to number 3, and so on and so on and so on. If you have a team, if you got a team that is building network marketing, but they're also working 80 hours a week in their sales job, are they going to really be that good at network marketing? Probably not. They probably have to spend a lot of focus on their team rather than working their job 80 hours a week. Maybe they should cut back to 60 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and put some focus into their business. I've heard, and I actually agree with, the number 1 cause of failure is broken focus. So focus on your business. Now, here's a quick little caveat to this. There's an epidemic in this industry of people being closed-minded and focusing so much that they actually don't think for themselves. I'm not advocating that. I want you to focus on things that you are that you believe in. So I did a podcast a few months ago about focus, and here's what I advocate. Once or twice a year, reconsider your options. What am I doing? Why am I choosing this funnel type? Why did I choose this company? Why did I choose this industry? What am I doing, and is it right? Once you conclude that what you're doing is right, now you focus, and you don't break that focus until it's time to reevaluate. If you keep reevaluating every 2 weeks, you're going to spray everywhere, and it's not going to be that effective. It's like a ray of sun, right? I'm sitting in the sun right now. It's not hurting me. It's warm. It's nice. But if this sun was concentrated into a couple little centimeter laser, it could cut through me. That's the power of focus. Cool? All right, so hopefully this helped. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of things to think about. I was actually going to share a story. Well, I guess I will. So one of the things that we used to do is share. I used to share stories with people that, like people on our team, when we were like building the business super hardcore, like especially doing old school things. I would share some of the stories that would happen when I did that, and I still have plenty of like recent stories too, but I want to share with you a story really quick that happened way back in the day. This is not going to be that useful, by the way, for anyone. This is just going to be potentially going to make you, smile. But it's not going to make you millions of dollars or anything like that. This is just going to be a nice little little pick me up. But when I was in the business for about maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, and I had my very first office job. So when I first got in the business, I was working as a motorcycle salesman. And I was making, whatever. I was making like normal commissions. I was making actually pretty good money for a 19, 20-year-old. But then I needed something that was like more, I guess, office-friendly hours. Something like I was talking about, so that I could, do something like focus, right? And so I changed to a more. I'm gonna actually move here. There's like a million people that just came and sat right by me, which is super weird. So I'm gonna start walking. Hopefully I don't lose you. But anyway. So I started working at this office job, and I needed some more time to actually build my business. And so I started working this office job, and I'm like, okay. So at this time, I'm doing all these old school things, right? I'm trying to sell product, trying to recruit people and all these things, and I'm doing everything old school. That's what I was taught, do it all old school. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to be at a job, if I'm going to be working here, I might as well make some extra money selling my own company's products, right? And so we had these fish oil pills, and they were like gold. They're like gold pills, kind of ones that you could see through, right? And I was working at this job for maybe 6 months, and there was this gal that worked really close to me, and she was like, "Hey Zach, what are those?" And I had all my company's vitamins on the desk, right? And I was like, "Well, these are vitamins, and these are these, and these are these." She's like, "Well, what are those?" And she points to the fish oil pills, and I was like, "Well, those are honey pills." She's like, "Honey pills?" It's like, "Yeah, the honey pills, like honey from a bee." She's like, "Well, that's interesting. I've never seen that before." I was like, "Well, no, of course you haven't. These are exclusive to us, and it's great." She's like, "Well, why honey?" I was like, "What's an amazing source of vitamin E?" She's like, "Oh, I had no idea." It's like, well, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you didn't know. I mean, how are you feeling? So I kind of feel sniffly and sick sometimes. I'm like, oh my goodness, it must be a vitamin E deficit. She's like, oh really? It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm making all of this up, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, you need to, I'll tell you what. I would normally sell these to you, but I want to give you a few right now. I just want you to feel better. Here you go. And I handed her a few of the fish oil pills. She's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. She puts it in her hand, and she's like, what do I do? I was like, well, you just put it in your mouth and just chew it. She's like, okay. Puts it in her mouth and bites on it, and bites it right in front of me. Just imagine this giant fish oil pill just exploding in your mouth. And you can just imagine the face that she gave. She was like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's like, what? What do you mean? She's like, it tastes like anchovies. It's like, anchovies? That's weird. She's like, yeah, it tastes like anchovies. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I must have given you one out of my expired bottle. I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh. And then I handed her another one. And she's like, thank you. And then she did it again, and she bit straight into the second honey pill. And I completely lost my mind. Needless to say, I didn't get an order from her. I did not get a customer out of that particular day, which is really funny. But that's how you don't get a customer. You just give people honey pills, telling them they're fish oil. So, excuse me, I shared that with you because I've got 50 or 60 ridiculously stupid stories. That one's actually more stupid, but I kind of lost my train of thought when, like, I was over there. It's like 50,000 freaking kids that just came and, like, sat next to me. It was like, and the mom's like right there, like, I don't know what they're doing. But I got like 50 or 60 of these crazy stories of, like, just, that one's like probably one of the most tame ones. Just like nuts things that happen when you build a business. Like when you build a business, crazy things happen, and they're actually really stupid at the time. When you look back on them, they're super hilarious. And needless to say, I hated having a job so freaking much. I hated having a job so much. And so I did anything to pass the time, including tell people that fish oil pills were honey pills, not so that I could make any money or get a customer, but simply so I could have a laugh and laugh at everybody. So anyway, if you ever think about selling stuff, I wouldn't particularly do that. So I'm going to bring up the questions here, but it looks like we might be, oh wow, we've got a ton. Remember this story is 20-year-old Zach. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, I'm going to just run through these questions and see if there's anything I can miss. All right, uh-oh.